Good evening. I'd like to call the regular meeting of the Buckeye Board of Education to order. This is Tuesday, September 11th. And roll call, please. Berko?
Here.
Stoneman? Here. Haverty? Here.
Here.
I'll have you join me for the Pledge of Allegiance, and then afterwards we'll remain standing for a moment of silence for 9/11. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated. This meeting is a meeting of the Board of Education in public for the purpose of conducting the school district's business, and is not to be considered a public community meeting. There is a time, however, for public participation during the meeting as indicated on the agenda. Approval of minutes. Recommend that the Buckeye Board of Education approve the minutes for special and regular meetings of August 14th, 2018, August 27th, 2018, and August 28th, 2018. A motion, please.
Motion. I'll second.
Any questions or comments on those minutes? Roll call. Stahl?
Yes.
Berko?
Yes.
Haverty? Yes. Yes. Following our recommendations that have been identified for approval as part of the consent agenda for this meeting, if a board member wishes to remove any item from this agenda for further discussion prior to taking action, please let either the superintendent or the board president know. Approval of consent agenda. Recommend that the Buckeye Board of Education approve the consent agenda of September 11th, 2018 as presented. A motion, please. Second.
Second.
Any questions? Roll call. Haverty? Yes. Berko?
Yes.
Stahl?
Yes.
Stoneman? Yes. And Mr. Morgan, Superintendent Special Guest.
Thank you. We would like to recognize our students of the month as we get back to the swing of things here with the school year. So if we could have our administrators come up and join us in front of our new screen, we'd appreciate being introduced to our students of the month for September, August, September.
Get out of the way of the screen. I now want to be named Victor.
Good evening, everyone. I'm calling out to Club Intermediate. It is my pleasure to introduce Emma Bostic. And this smile is not just for right now. Literally, this is her every single day. So that is why she is our student of the month in September. And this is what our teachers had to say only after about a few days of school, right? Okay. Emma has been friendly and welcoming to other students in her class. She has shown a positive attitude and has been helpful to her teachers during the first few days of school. Emma is an outgoing, polite, and respectful student to all individuals within the building. She truly exemplifies the meaning of our Buckeye basics of being respectful, responsible, and a problem solver. Congratulations.
I am very pleased to present Anna Constant as the primary student of the month. It's no great surprise that Anna's been chosen for student of the month. She has an amazing heart and spirit, which comes across in the classroom, on the playground, and in her everyday life at home. Is that right, Mom? She always gives 100% to her work and wants to do her very best. She's the very first one to raise a helping hand or to check on another student if they're upset or feeling down. She has a wonderful superhero smile, and it's contagious. Congratulations, Anna, on this wonderful achievement, and that was by Mrs. Elliott, her second grade teacher.
Good evening, I'm Mr. Flood, and with me this evening from the junior high is Maddie Belfalzi. It gives me great pleasure, is now her principal, to come up here and have her nominated as our Student of the Month. I take great pride in this because I've known Maddie since she's been about yay big. But she wanted me to mention today that it was really her sister's influence. Not only do I have great pride in introducing her tonight, but I wanted to just bring out a few things that some of her teachers had to say about her. It says, Maddie is also involved in student council, Stand By Me, and was on the winning team of our Ruth Goldberg team, which, by the way, last year we had 2 teams from Buckeye that were winners for the Ruth Goldberg competition. She's also involved in St. Martin's Church, where she's a member of the Crusaders. This is a youth group that does service projects, and her favorite service project was the hunger retreat. I don't know why. But one of the things that she recognized from that was that it was the ability to learn what it was like to be food insecure. She says that her favorite thing about being at the junior high is the teachers, because of course they're really nice, and they help us learn. She has a great sense of humor and is encouraging to all of us. Language arts is a passion of Maddie's, so much so that she wants to one day become a language arts teacher or a history teacher, kind of like her father. Maddie Belfalzi.
Good evening, I'm Kevin Jacob, I'm the principal at the high school. Because we're doing twice as exceptionally at the high school, we get 2 students to recognize here. I would like to introduce first, you might let Grace go first. Tom's a gentleman, that's why he's there. We're going to introduce Grace Allen, a junior at Buckeye High School. Grace was selected because of her outstanding role that she took in our freshman mentors program this past year. My assistant principal, Mr. Snook, identified her really as a linchpin within the freshman mentors program and making sure that event went off well. And then when sitting down and talking to Grace and learning a little bit about her, she's involved in pretty much anything that you can think of. She's involved in our Stand By Me Club, our Key Club, National Honor Society, our Student Discipline Committee, the Student Council, and she also serves as a class officer, and that's just at Buckeye High School alone. She continues to go out into the community as a member of 4-H. She's a Girl Scout, and she's also been taking her love of basketball and teaching some of our younger community members in the community rec programs. On top of that, Grace has also been an active member of the basketball program for the past 2 years, where she was elected to serve as a captain of her as a sophomore last year on the varsity team, and also is continuing to play throughout the course of the year to hold her game in the Westlake travel program. So, Grace, congratulations. Thank you for being here tonight. Dom has an impressive resume as well. One of the reasons that I wanted to recognize Dom here this evening was because Dom was recognized locally, regionally really, with WKYC this past summer for all of the great work that he does philanthropically within the community. So to be recognized by a local news station for the great things that you're contributing to your community truly says about the reach and the impact that you have on other people that sometimes we don't even recognize that we have. Don also is a member of National Honor Society and a freshman mentor. He's a member of the Ethics Committee for our high school sports program and has been a member of Darren Huddle for the past 3 years. He's currently enrolled as a post-secondary student at CCP courses at Tri-C and is carrying a GPA of 4.1. He is also the captain of the football team and also has been elected to serve as the captain of the basketball team this coming winter. He's also ran track for 2 seasons for us. Currently, he's involved St. Martin's, where he serves as a technology coordinator for the confirmation project for the Bishop of Cleveland. He works as an usher and also makes sandwiches and feeds people in the area, and the turkey sandwiches he cited specifically, so they must be great. He volunteered at the Valley City Frog Jump Center and rang the bell for the Salvation Army during the holiday season. And someone who has done that before, I can tell you that's a long, cold day, so to be able to stand and do that is a true testament to character and willpower. And he's currently working as well at Mapleside Farms and Bell's Party Center. And as he prepares to graduate here this spring, he's going to go and pursue a college education where he wants to work in the area of forensics and criminology, protecting the rest of us as an FBI or CIA agent. So, Don, thank you for being here tonight.
Thank you. This is the point where we usually take a stand-up break so we can take some official photos of our students of the month. So let's do that right now. All right, we'll call the meeting back to order. And if there are any students left who need to go home, that's okay. We certainly understand that. All right, treasurer's report.
Resolved that the Buckeye Board of Education accept the treasurer's report as presented, including all internal budgets, amended certificates, and appropriations to Shannon Hunter as on file in the treasurer's office. Appendix A.
A motion to accept the treasurer's report? Any comments or questions? Further explanations? Ben, I want to thank you for sending us the update from your office. The details were very helpful. Thank you.
Very helpful.
Roll call.
Savarchi?
Yes.
Stahl?
Yes.
Kirkland?
Yes.
Trumbull?
Yes. This is the time for public participation. The public is invited to speak to any of the agenda items and other school topics. Comments should be limited to 3 minutes. Direct questions will not be answered by the Board of Education members at this time. However, answers will be given at a later date as appropriate. Is there anyone who wishes to speak this evening? Yes. If you'll give us your name and your address.
My name is Kelly Felicity Gates. My address is 301 Central Road. And my kids are third generation Bucks. My only comment or question or whatnot, my junior is on the gymnastics team. We currently are a club sport through Buckeye Activity Center. And this year there have been some massive changes with that, and we have been are hopefully inquiring into becoming a school sport to make that a little bit easier on the girls and things more cohesive. And I just wanted to go on record to let you know that we are all very, very hopeful that we can make that happen.
All right, thank you. We have been hearing some information, and we're looking into how well that might impact. Great, thank you. Thanks. Is there anyone else? Yes, ma'am.
Hi, my name is Dawn Yeager. I live at 26666 Eakins Road. And I'm here on behalf of many of the moms from the gymnastics club, and this is my daughter, Aurora. She's a junior, and, her daughter. And so typically we pay around $350, and this year some of the costs have gone up to $1,100 plus. So $1,100, that's if you don't want a leotard. Leotards run about $180 or $220 plus spirit wear. So that's a lot of money. We can't afford that. So 7 years ago, I went through a divorce and our house burned down, and one thing after another. So the whole 7 years, my plan was to get Aurora here and to stay with Kristen at Buckeye Activity Center. She's been with Kristen since she was 2, and she wants to be with her team, and of course, with Buckeye Activity Center. So we cannot afford this $1,100. There's just no way. So that's very disappointing. And then, right, there's many girls right now that cannot afford this. Plus, if you have a parent, that can't afford it, do you really want to pay $1,100 versus $345 or $350? not many of us would. So we definitely want to do everything we can to make gymnastics a school sport. They have 2 district banners. It's actually 1 banner with 2 districts. And several of our girls have gone to state competition. So that's a big concern for us. And a lot of the moms didn't come. We actually got an email saying not to come today, but we just decided to come anyways and say that we're willing to do whatever we need to do to become a school sport. And I think a lot of parents have some, we don't know what that means. So I talked to Tom Harrington, and we don't know what we need to do to become a school sport. So we're willing to fundraise and get that going right now, even though we're a winter sport, so we can raise money if that's what we need to do. We want a list of things we can do to become a school sport. And plus, Kristen, some of the girls, the team was 3 girls, then 4, then 5. Now we're looking at 15, 20 girls, and that's if we don't recruit anymore. So our team has grown vastly. So we want to be more of a presence in the school.
We say that we don't give answers at this time because we don't have all the information sitting in front of us. But just know that it has been brought to our attention, and we are working with Mr. Harrington and looking into everything that needs to happen.
Good.
Okay?
Good. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Is there anyone else? Then, seeing none, we will move on to the superintendent's informational items.
Thank you. Tomorrow will be our first late arrival of the school year, where our students will be arriving 2 hours later than they do currently. Item B is our Buckeye Foundation golf outing is at Bunker Hill on Sunday. So if you are interested in supporting the BEF and having some fun golfing, please go online, and you have the information here on our agenda as well as information that has been sent out. The next item is administrator's presentation. So I'd like to invite our first administrator, Amy Doty, to come up to talk to us about our tech update.
Well, this is going to be a quick update because, as you can imagine, the beginning of the school year for tech, this is terrible, I've not used this before. Okay. The tech person goes, how does that work? As you can imagine, the beginning of the school year for the tech department is much like an accountant on April 14th. So we are just kind of inundated right now with all of the wonderful things getting them ready for students and staff. So these are the IT, the systems initiatives. So this is really Carl Walker and Kyle Kearns, thank you, I'm so sorry I lost his name. Kyle Kearns' wheelhouse, so I asked them for a little bit of information to share with you, and actually had to take notes because I'm not sure that I understand all of it. So the phone system, our voicemail server basically died, and so we have a new one, and so they're getting that up and running. Securely is our new security system throughout the district. So we used to have Lightspeed, so when people would log in and they would go to a website that perhaps they shouldn't, the staff had the ability to override that using Lightspeed. So Lightspeed exists no longer for us. NeoNet has moved to Securely, and we along with them. So now the students and staff have to log into a Securely server, which again, it's all about making sure that we can manage where people are going on school devices so that we get to appropriate things and kind of block the things that perhaps aren't school appropriate. The next thing, the wireless, and this is the part I really had to ask about. So we used to host our wireless network here. Basically, we're moving all that to NeoNet. What that means is rather than having one wireless controller here, at NeoNet they have several. So if something fails, we have a backup and a backup and a backup, so that we won't lose our wireless network at any time, because at this point in Buckeye land, it would be very difficult on all of us if the wireless network went down. I see lots of thumbs going, yes, that's true. And then finally, we're working on device maintenance. We did have one issue we were not anticipating with some of our Chromebooks. We had a number of batteries die over the summer storage, which we did not have that issue last year. We're working with Dell, and they're getting those batteries replaced through Dell, which is fantastic for us. And so they've got quite a bit of maintenance going on right now. So for my part of the ballpark, this is our 4th year of student one-to-one, so we are now one-to-one 7th through 11th grade. Next year will be the final year, we'll be all the way 7th through 12. I'm busy supporting curriculum online, getting software up and running for the staff members and getting students access to the programs they need. And then finally, we have the new Clever Touches. We started with those last year in kindergarten and 1st grade. We're continuing some of that in 2nd grade, and hopefully the new kindergarten classrooms and otherwise this year. So those are taking the place of our aging smart boards. And then my focus this year is on our technology curriculum, K through 12. We're in pretty good shape K through 6, but the state just came up with an updated curriculum, so we're going to take a look at the lower and then expand it all the way through 12th grade. Updating the 5-year technology plan, since next year's the last year of that, we need to look at where we're going past that, and then assisting with the branching minds implementation. So this is a place where our teachers can get resources to help students with all kinds of needs. And lastly, that's what we do. We get the tech ready so that kids can learn. So we have kids coding, and we have kids working with Octobot robots, which Nora Elliott will be working with in her 2nd grade class this year. She's got a set to work on. And then, of course, all of the wonderful things that Melissa Vetrick is doing with her 5th grade STEM club, and the great things they're doing with their 3D printers. So we do all of this background so that we can have students gaining success. And that's all.
The Branching Minds, is that what you call it?
Yes.
Is that a content provider?
It is a platform that is going to allow us to house our RTI information, as well as providing, and this is probably going to be the much more exciting part, it also is going to provide a warehouse of ideas and strategies that are all vetted and that are research-based. So you can pinpoint to the very nitty-gritty problem or issue that a student might be struggling with, and go to the database and say, this is what I'm looking for at this grade level, and it will give you a variety of suggestions of things you might try. So yeah, it is a find by Dr. Collins, and we are just very excited about this community for helping students.
Thank you very much. And you'll hear more about Branching Minds at a later date, I'm sure, as we are kind of the trailblazers in the county with this, and we're really impressed, and we're getting really excited about what this will do for our kids. So thanks for asking that question. Our second administrator presentation is Mr. Pollock, our Director of Operations, on Buckeye Local Schools Facilities Update.
Thank you, Superintendent Warren. The update tonight is going to cover all of our. Did you advance that, Vicki?
What's that?
Advance that?
Did Amy turn it off?
Just can, but you can push it. That doesn't mean I didn't ask.
So the primary responsibility of support services is to involve the district's products and services, and responding to the requirements and the requests for the end user, which are people in the audience, or students, our community members, and the like. So I have it in 3 parts tonight. My first part is the maintenance piece, then we'll go into some transportation and some food service items. Just want to kind of give the board an update of some of the challenges that I've identified as I've come on board here in August 1st, some of the next steps, and then a little bit of detail in there. So the challenges right now consist of leaking roof. I have elementary in parentheses because right now that's not our focus. That's why we had to kind of close down schools. It really wasn't so much the mold as it was the moisture that was trapped in the ceiling from roof leaks, combined with the high humidity and some HVAC issues that we were having. Contributed to us having to make sure that the school is safe. HVAC and controls, again, I have elementary highlighted because this building The controls are antiquated and we need to bring them up to speed so we can control not just the outside air, but the inside air, control the pumps and the geothermal system that exists here, just to sort of makes it a little bit unique. We're not ignoring the junior high or the high school. We would do that, but the focus now has really been this building again because of the most immediate need. Other challenges, I have grass competition fields on there because you're all grass, you don't have any turf, and so the maintaining of that will be weather like we've had, and you have the activities that are taking place, and that's not just the competition fields, but it's also access to those fields, and it can also be parking. So there's a lot that goes into that. So that's a challenge we're looking at with the baseball field progressing as it is. It's created some additional challenges for us for the community to access the soccer field. So we're addressing that as well. Next steps include identifying all roof HVAC issues, not just in this building, but collectively put a plan in place for corrective action to determine what the best long-term solution is, in addition to the short-term need of shoring up some things, and then long-range would be a comprehensive preventive maintenance plan. And along with that, one of my goals would be for the year would be to develop a capital needs assessment that talks about the life of the parking lots, your competition fields, your practice fields, your roofs, your HVAC, all of those things that, again, we're fortunate with some of our PI dollars that you have here, and the tax that helps provide for funding of some of those things. But again, until we get some long-term plans, it's more reactive than it is proactive, and I want to be as preventative as we can. And not last, but at least one of the things I want to start doing is you've got great people. You've got awesome hourly classified people working here at Buckeye, and they're very proud, and they're very proud of what they do. So I want to start an informal recognition program that I've done in previous districts, and again, just an opportunity to recognize those folks that do a great job, and so that'll be rolled out here sometime in the near future. We'd allow anybody, students, staff, or otherwise, to recognize those folks. Transportation that has had its challenges in the fact that we as a district expanded to do high school busing this year. The high school busing numbers alone, you'll see there 9 to 12. We added 358 riders. To add that to our 7th and 8th grade, and we have 584 riders. That doesn't include the ones that were probably added today and yesterday. This was a Friday. And 1,180 students daily, so you've got a grand total of 1,785. I think our enrollment's around 2,200. So you're busing a lot we are busing a lot of kids on 18 routes. In addition to parochial routes and students with special needs, some of those routes, we do a lot of busing. So the first challenge up there I have is bus request, because in order to receive transportation services, you need to go online and fill out a form, unless you were rollover from last year. And we had some bugs with even the rollover, because if you were a half-day kindergarten student and now you're in first grade, we'll give you a ride to school, but you're not in the system as a ride home. And nobody taught that to tell the parent, well, my kid doesn't have a ride home. Well, you didn't request one. So those are one of the challenges early on that Judy's amazing. Judy Evelyn, the support services secretary. She manages those requests. She handles the routing. She makes me look good every day in all that she does. So those requests alone, we had 166 since August 1st. Just since the first day of school, we've had 54, and that doesn't include the ones that have come in the last 2 days. So again, we turn that around as quick as we can, and it's usually a couple of days. And it's nice because it's automated. With your use of having a Google form online to do that, it dumps into a Google sheet that allows us to send an email with the email address and the route information out to the parents, and it's pretty timely. So those are the challenges along with preschool. And preschool is a challenge because a lot of those preschool parents, for whatever reason, hadn't requested transportation services. What do you mean I got to take my kid to school? I don't know. We ride a bus, but you need to do the form. And so the amazing preschool teachers here at the intermediate building were very instrumental in doing some home visits and getting parents, getting them lined up, but that was a big stressor. And we added students. So one of the reasons why you have to, reapprove those routes is because we had so many students added As you can see, not just the 54 students added since school started, but then also those preschool routes. And when you think about the biggest challenge, the biggest complaint that we've gotten, and it's a very fair one, is I've got a 4-year-old that gets picked up here at the school, and he's on the bus for 50 minutes. That's a lot for a 4-year-old. That's a lot for, 44-year-old, if you ask me. But because we have this one bus route, you're going to all ends of the district, depending on where those students live. So the benefit is if you're the first on in the morning, or the first thing, you're the last off. So there's balance there. You might only have a 5-minute ride, one of them, but it might be a 50 at the other. So it is a challenge. We did split that because it was, we weren't taking all of those students. It wasn't 70 some at the time. It was in the 60s, and we were doing them picking up, dropping off, all one route, and that. So we split that route, and now we're looking at, do we need to split it down more to get that time done a little bit better? So next steps include using the Remind app more frequently. In some of my conversations with parents on the phone, they didn't mind getting the Remind, whether it was their student, whether it was their bus or not. It's just information. I can do with it what I want. At least I have the information. And so I tried doing a test on one of those today. Judy, Miss Zidlin's working on that with me, so that I can have on my phone remotely and on the computer, so we can send those reminders out as needed. Other next steps, as you know, the last board meeting we had a resignation of a mechanic, so I'm looking to identify another mechanic. And today I reached out to the Educational Service Center in Medina County to see if there are some services they can provide us with in an area that would expedite us not having to hire additional sub-mechanics. It just takes a while for us to hire someone. That they might have people in neighboring schools like Brunswick and Medina currently on staff. They're willing to come here in the evenings, and the ESC can process that a little bit faster. So we're looking to outsource that as best we can. The mechanic we have, Max Wood, is doing a fantastic job right now. We are in the process. We're training 2 drivers right now that are in the process. I've got another 2 or 3 that are in the process of going to the BMV and getting their CDL knocked out so they can start to begin training by us. So we are identifying that. So I will say that the signs are having an impact. I've had it takes me about 10 minutes to give them the full spiel on the phone on what it takes before we actually train you, and it's expensive. I mean, it really is expensive for them. Just like it is for anybody to be hired, some of the steps that you have to take. So, but it is something that we're looking at in our next steps. And our new gas bus, we're hoping to, once I get the title and our name and that information to the state troopers, they will come out and do a full inspection of the bus, and we'll get it on the road as soon as we can. And so we're excited about getting our first gas bus on the road and get some information on that. I will say that we have very supportive and understanding parents in this district. Very complimentary on some of the things that bus drivers are doing to greet their students in the morning and to wish them well. And as I told the drivers the first opportunity I had to meet with them, that they have the first opportunity every single day to make a positive difference in kids' lives. So why wouldn't you do that? And you have the last opportunity every day to have that adult, contact. Maybe they might not have it all that evening. They might not have it until later in the evening. So I do stress that with the drivers. They've been very receptive to that. And again, parents have been very great on calling me, calling the office, letting us know that, so-and-so's not going to be running for a week or we don't need services. So again, it gets our students home faster when we don't have to drive down, a certain road and do a turnaround or a difficult road kind of maneuvering. So again, very supportive and very transparent and letting us know how we can do things better. Food service, I left food service for last because I won't say it's the bleak, but it's the most challenging. Again, I'm just showing you some August of 17 and August of 18 numbers, so you don't have a whole lot of data there. But of all of our students, only 15% of them buy lunch every day. And we do provide a lot of options for them. And I showed you some daily receipts just to show you that we are bringing in a little bit more money. Right now, again, just the sample size of just looking at the opening of school last year and the averages, and the opening of school this year and the averages. But at some point, I want to have conversations, with Mrs. Knapp, Mr. Morgan, and the principals and the administrative team and eventually the board to say, how far are you willing to go down that rabbit hole of when you start talking about negative balances and carrying over general fund money, what can we do differently? So some of the next steps that I'm doing and we're doing is we are trying to solicit some of that feedback. Right now, it's more informal, and we're going to move to a formal step of having surveys available because we want to hear from the parents, we want to hear from the kids. Trying to identify those monthly preferred lunches and then repeat those. And that, to me, is just common sense. And event catering and things like if there's a sports team after school, or there's a PTA, PTO event, or a new student lunch and things like that. Food service would like an opportunity to regain some of that trust that maybe was lost over the years for some reason, or maybe food service is too expensive. We want that opportunity to try to get that back because, as Mrs. Knapp pointed out to us in a recent administrative meeting, even when we have those those special events in school that are really nice for kids, we can charge that individual student back to get credit for the lunch, and especially if it's a free reduced. So otherwise, we're just losing money, even though it's a nice thing that the principal or the school or the PTA, PTO is putting on for us. So we're trying to be a little bit more strategic in how we do some of those things. And then again, I can't say enough of Mrs. Evelyn, Judy Evelyn, Support Services Secretary, and what she does for Mr. Reisner and Mrs. Luther day in and day out. So thank you for the opportunity. So I have.
Mrs. Day.
Thank you for not saying this is hard. Never gets old.
Slide to the left.
We are really excited that we're here. No, I just want to start out by saying I can't say enough about how wonderful this team is. They've been so flexible. I've had numerous, emergency meeting in Dawn's office, everybody be there, let's troubleshoot. I was very grateful they came back after day 2. We were going to recess first, and kids like, are you packing or buying? No clue. What's your name, honey? Don't know. So they have been wonderful, and I'm going to introduce them. They're awesome.
My name is Mary Ellen Schmidt, and we all love kindergarten. And every day is an adventure in kindergarten. Not only for the kindergarten kids, but also for us. This is Mrs. Collins.
Mrs. Collins. First of all, I want to thank you for implementing full-day kindergarten. Now, I don't talk in front of people very well, so you have to excuse me. But just suck your thumb. So what I want to point out is how the full-day kindergarten and the half-day kindergarten would be different. So half-day kindergarten, of course, we have less time for academics, which would cause more parent involvement. So after the half-day, then the parents would help with reviewing and practicing these skills at home. Full-day kindergarten, the teachers would use technology, school resources, computers to help reinforce those skills. A lot of things that teachers use, the parents would not have access to at home. Half-day, without lunch or recess, the kiddos do not have the social and the physical environment to excel if the academics are getting in trouble. I had a 5-year-old that couldn't write his name, but he could make baskets. He was so proud, and I was so proud of him. He could excel. It was something he could be proud of, and that's what we want our children to do. So recess gives them a whole different dynamic. Oh, goodness. Okay, full day. Full day with more time. It gives us a relaxed and unhurried atmosphere. It gives time for the teachers to give the children more opportunity to be independent, make choices. Better understand, teachers can better understand the strengths of their students and focus on those strengths. And it gives us a sizable learning advantage for academics such as reading and writing. So my good friend Mrs. Batehouse will explain this to you.
Okay, so first of all, I want to tell you that I think in the last few weeks we've learned the word stamina. At first it was just to stay awake all day, not to have those impromptu naps, and I'm talking about the students. I was like, and then the stamina also now, we're working on our reading stamina. We're working on our children being able to read to themselves. It started out maybe just 1 minute, 3 minutes at a time, and a lot of our classes now are getting to 8 to 10 minutes of sustained quiet reading by themselves. It's really exciting to watch. Also, we're working on stamina like in center time. They're working on being able to stay at a task for a certain amount of time. First it seemed like, wow, you're already done. Now they're learning to get to work on that task a little bit longer, and that's that stamina that we're working on. The neat thing about all the kindergarten with the academics is because of our centers, we can do them much more often. And these centers can give them that hands-on experience in literacy, and then we can meet with smaller groups, which we didn't always get a chance to do. We might have been able to do it a few times a week. Now we're going to have that in our schedule every day. And we can meet with them and work on books at their level. So we can have those different level readers for those students that come in reading and the students that maybe aren't ready even knowing their letters and sounds. We can work with them at that skill level. Also, with our academics, it's the writing. I'm the most excited about having more time for writing. We often felt like we were rushed in getting them to first learn how to write their letters, but in kindergarten, we work on sentence writing. So we want them to write several sentences and illustrate a picture to go with it. And that's our goal at the end of the year. And now having this writing time where we can build writing stamina, where they can write more, add detail. Like right now, that's what we're working on, is just adding detail to their pictures. But eventually, they're going to add detail to their writing, to their sentences. And so we're really excited about being able to really expand that literacy piece.
And I get all the Fruit Loops at the end.
Okay, so Lori. Yes, and we're talking about intervention. We are very excited for this block of time that we have for intervention. There's no new instruction during this time. Any of our students that need OT or PT or speech are pulled out during that time. So we are concentrating on activities for biomotor and building eye-hand coordination, and we're having a lot of fun with it. You saw the picture earlier with the Fruit Loops, and they would take the Fruit Loops and write their name. We're doing hole punch activities. We paint with Q-tips. Mrs. Collins made these boxes where she put the little pieces of paper in there, and then they roll the marbles around, and they just have the best time with us. They loved it.
There were numbers on there, right?
Yes.
There were numbers. We'll get to it.
And during this time, we can spend that extra time with those students one-on-one, working on certain skills that they may need a little extra boost with. But this is a great time for us. We're always finding new things to add to our intervention block.
Oh, that's me. Hi, I'm Hannah Hartley. I think something that has carried over with all of us is that last year we felt kind of really rushed. And this year we have a lot of time to kind of break things down and then go from there. Do we need to do new instruction, or do we need to regroup and see what they need more of? Maybe this group needs more repetition, but this group doesn't even know what number does that group represent. So this year we have a lot more time for math centers. Last year we were able to give a lesson and then kind of say, hey, here's our activity. We need to be done in 12 minutes. And this year we have way more time to do that, so we're able to break up into those centers, have the groups that we can work with them, small group, individually, and it might be that one group's working on one thing and the other group is something totally different, but that's what's perfect and that's what we can differentiate during this time. And something that we've been able to do this year that we didn't do last year are interactive math notebooks. And that is really exciting for us because not only is it working on math, but also those fine motor skills. So their skills are huge in kindergarten. So they do a lot of that every single day, and they seem to really be loving it. we just talk, so it's awesome.
I'm Marcy Zickle, assistant Casey Morse, yes, and we were going to talk about the socialization piece, and obviously common sense will lend itself to say they're a longer time, of course, they're going to have more opportunities to socialize. But from the morning, I think that with more center time involved, you're having more peer interaction naturally. You're learning to problem solve with your peers. It's not starting that to be hurry up and we'll go to the next thing. It's exploring, getting more in depth, and that, of course, just naturally lends itself to socializing. Eating lunch with their peers is a wonderful opportunity for socializing, as we know. That is a natural way of facilitating with children and how to interact with one another appropriately. I think that really does help them build those relationships and friendships, and navigating friendships and those kinds of things.
We're watching the kids learn how to become friends, even on the playground and at lunch. It's really cool to see. They learning how to like join a group, exit a group, make friends, be okay with someone who doesn't want to play with you. Just all skills that we learn through play.
Any questions about the kindergarten guys or graduates?
Obviously, you're a great team. And one of the things that we saw in kindergarten is it needs to be passed on to first grade teachers. And I hope that you're planning on how to keep it moving forward, because if it's just expanding kindergarten and it doesn't pass on, sorry, it's waste money. So I'm hoping that that's what you're doing, is pass it on to the next team.
I think we've already started the plan. First grade is starting to revamp the curriculum for next year, knowing that the students coming to them are going to be far ahead of any previous groups. And I mentioned to them, it's interesting to me, you know, first graders are always the youngest here all day going through lunch. They seem so much older to me this year than I've ever imagined. But it's exciting. And then the plan is the next year, second grade will revamp their curriculum, because that, you're absolutely right, that is the plan. I know from meetings with Mr. Morgan and Dr. Collins, that's been the plan all along, so you're absolutely right.
I just want to say thank you. I have a special place in my heart for kindergarten teachers. It was never my forte. I'm glad it's yours. And I can tell from the way that you are all here tonight on your own time to talk to us about this, that it is very meaningful to you as it is to us. And I just appreciate the hard work. It's not easy to start a new program. So I certainly appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That's great information on our kindergarten, and looking forward to seeing what those students are going to be able to accomplish. The next item here is the Business Advisory Committee update. That's something that I attend each month. And the program that we have been focusing on was working on job-related skills, and we worked with businesses as well as the school districts, and we're trying to identify what type of characteristics that the businesses are offering back to us to say that they would like to see our students coming to them with those types of qualities. And so it's starting to develop into some things that we're going to be doing with some adjustments to our curriculum. That's the goal. This summer we kind of took a break from that, and we really shifted gears to ask the businesses, how are our students coming to you in regards to the interview process? And what has been, we've been finding out is that some of the things that we have been thinking is how the businesses function are a little bit different now. And so it was really enlightening for us to be able to see how they expect interaction prior to an interview, how they expect interaction following an interview, and how you communicate, whether it's with a letter, which takes more than 3 or 4 days to get there. They prefer to see something, on the email format. Just kind of getting a feel for where the characteristics that they're looking for in a new employee, that we can then help provide our students that same opportunity. So I did share with the board how to interview well from the business perspective, and just really goes into all the basic things about make sure you know where you're going, kind of practice that route before you get to your interview so you're not late, you know where to go, and so the construction delays that are allowed to get there. preparing for the interview, dressing for success. There's a lot of conversation about, you know, you come in for an interview and you're not really looking like you're ready for the challenge of coming into their employment. So you kind of know who you're interviewing with and what type of job it is, preparing yourself for that. Also talked about, it had a lot of discussion about scents, making sure you showered, making sure you have overpowering perfume and those types of things, which we all think is kind of things we just learned, but it's something that's nice to be able to help our students be prepared as they go out. Resumes and paper, arriving and greeting, and then questions that the interviewers are going to ask them why and what they're looking for as far as the quality of answers, and then making sure you have your own questions to be able to show that you've done some homework and you're interested, and it sets you above the other candidates for that position. And then the follow-up, as I mentioned, just some changes there. So it's been very productive. It's been enlightening from the educational side as well as from the businesses. I think there's a little bit of a missed thought of, well, how come you don't teach this? And sometimes we are teaching that, but we all know there's some people that don't carry that out once they leave, you know, the four walls of the school. And so it was kind of allowing us to be supportive of saying, yes, we do promote that, and we do talk about looking each other in the eyes, but then they're also talking about those people that they aren't hiring and where they are falling short in that interview process. So it's really been a nice combination of kind of learning about each other's things that we can do to help each other and support the workforce, which is certainly a focus for us. Any questions? May I continue?
Yes, please.
The superintendent recommendations, we have item A is approval of the MOU, resolve the Buckeye Board of Education, approve the memorandum of understanding between the Buckeye Board of Education and the Buckeye Local Education Association for the 2018-19 Student Growth Measure, Appendix B. Item B, approval of fundraisers, resolve the Buckeye Board of Education, approve the attached list of fundraisers sponsored by the Buckeye Local Schools Organizations, Appendix C. Item C, agreement with Medina County Board of Developmental Disabilities. Recommend that the Buckeye Board of Education approve an agreement with the MCBDD STEP program effective from August 22nd, 2018 through May 30th, 2019 for the 2018-19 school year for eligible Buckeye students. A complete copy of the agreement will be held in the Treasurer's Office, Appendix B. Item D, bus routes for the 2018-19 school year. This is a correction update. As Mr. Pollock had identified, recommended the Buckeye Board of Education approve the bus routes for the 2018-19 school year, reflecting the additional preschool routes and route changes as on file with Transportation Department. And item E, I'd like Mr. Jacob to recommend.
Sure. Approval for the 2018-2019 foreign exchange students as recommended by the Buckeye Board of Education. Approve Aaron Premswari, she goes by Aaron, Giacomo Moringao, and then Emna Sanoki, who is available here with us this evening as well. So if you want to stand up and be recognized. And Emna, you are from Indonesia? You're from Tunisia?
Yes. So I'm Emna Sanoki. I'm 16 years old, and I'm from Tunisia.
As long as you're in it, she volunteered to do some French tutoring today, I understand, so we might want to get that on the approval as well. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you, Mr. Jacob.
Let's have a motion for the superintendent's recommendations.
Motion.
Second,
I'll second.
any questions or comments? Do you know where the other students are from? Am I putting you on the spot?
No, not at all. Giacomo is from Germany, and then Aaron is from Tunisia. That's why I got it mixed up. Indonesia, excuse me. I keep getting mixed up with which guy.
Okay.
Yes, you're putting me on the spot.
Roll call, please.
Stahl?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Burton?
Yes.
Gumman?
Yes.
Item F, resolution for temporary door locking devices. Recommend the Buckeye Board of Education approve the resolution for installation of temporary door locking devices within the Buckeye Local Schools campus buildings, Appendix E.
A motion, please. Second,
I'll second.
any questions or comments about that item? Roll call. Oh, sorry, Mr. Barnett.
This is a multiple-step approval. Does it have to get more approvals after us?
Yes, once the board has approved it, then we would take it to the fire department for their approval as well as the sheriff's department.
Roll call.
Babarchi?
Yes.
Barco?
Yes.
Stahl?
Yes.
Conkling?
Yes. Personnel items?
Item A, certified personnel. Recommendation to Buckeye Board of Education approve the following personnel items as presented. Number 1, revised pay for special education hours. Recommend the Buckeye Board of Education approve the request to revise the pay for Wendy Heinley, Justine Irafita, and Lauren Rogers. The preschool teachers will be paid for their approved extended hours at $25 per hour and not per diem as previously approved on the May 8, 2018 agenda. Item 2, approval of extended hours. Recommend the Buckeye Board of Education approve the request to pay Jeffrey Norris, vocational agriculture teacher, for 7 extended days at 1 FTE equivalent during the 2018-19 school year. Mr. Norris will use the additional time to carry out the instructional and management duties related to the vocational agriculture program at Buckeye High School. Item 3, employment. Recommend the Buckeye Board of Education approve to hire Dacre Herman, long-term sub-art teacher for Buckeye Primary, effective September 12, 2018. Ms. Herman will be paid through the negotiated agreement at Bachelor Step 0. Item B, certified substitutes. Recommend the Buckeye Board of Education approve the attached list of certified substitute tutors recommended by the Medina County Schools ESC to work on an as-needed basis for the 2018-19 school year. A copy of the list is attached to board members' agendas as Appendix F. Item C, classified personnel. Recommend the Buckeye Board of Education approve the following personnel items as presented. Number 1, voluntary change of employment. Recommend the Buckeye Board of Education approve the return of Rhonda Bartos to her previous position of 3-hour junior high cook effective September 10, 2018. Ms. Bartos will be paid Step 2 per negotiated agreement. Item 2, employment. Recommend the Buckeye Board of Education approve to hire Robin Watson, 3.5-hour elementary cook effective September 4, 2018, pending completion of all required paperwork. Ms. Watson will receive a 1-year probationary contract and be paid per the negotiated agreement at Step 1. Item 3, continuing contract. Recommend the Buckeye Board of Education approve continuing contracts for the following employees as presented. Item 4, classified reduction in force. Recommend that the Buckeye Board of Education approve the following classified reduction in force effective August 20th, 2018. This reduction in force is a result of a decrease in student enrollment as Troy Savage, 1-hour paraprofessional bus aide. Item D, classified substitutes. Recommend the Buckeye Board of Education approve the following classified substitutes to work on an as-needed basis for the 2018-19 school year, pending the completion of all required documentation as presented. Item E, supplemental contract approval. Recommend the Buckeye Board of Education approve the following supplemental contracts pending certifications as well as resignations effective for the 2018-19 school year as listed.
All right. We have a motion on these personnel items.
So moved.
Second? Any questions? Roll call.
Barco?
Yes.
Babarchi?
Yes.
Stahl?
Yes.
Conkling?
Yes. And volunteers.
Item 14, volunteers. Recommend the Buckeye Board of Education for the following volunteers pending all required paperwork for the DC trip, parent volunteer chaperones as presented. Yes, we do.
So, thank you, Mr. Stahl. Second? Second. Roll call.
Stahl?
Yes.
Babarchi?
Yes.
Barco?
Yes.
Conkling?
Yes. And next is donations.
Recommend the Buckeye Board of Education accept and recognize the following donations to Buckeye local schools as presented, and those are all from the Buckeye Athletic Boosters.
A motion, please.
Motion.
Second?
Second.
Comments? It's a huge list. It's just amazing. Yes, huge thank you to the boosters. Roll call.
Stahl?
Yes.
Barco?
Yes.
Babarchi?
Yes.
Conkling?
Yes. This is the time for board comments. Mr. Burke?
I am just so excited about the kindergarten program, especially, and what they've been able to put together. I know know it's a lot of hard work getting it all ironed out. I'm certain it's not done yet. But I'd like to thank you very much.
Well, I would like to thank all of our presenters tonight, especially our kindergarten teachers. I so appreciate it, and I certainly have 3 great reasons to thank our kindergarten teachers, but all of our teachers. I appreciate all that you do, and I know it's just not easy, as Mr. Weber said, and Mrs. John, but the new program building. Thank you. Mr. Snow.
Kindergarten's the most wonderful place in the world. Great job. I know what you did with half a day, so I know what you can accomplish with a full day, so way to go. And thanks to all our presenters, particularly the facilities. That was a lot of information in a short period of time since you've been there. So great job, and congrats to our students.
This is our first official meeting since school has begun, so I think, thank you to everybody, because it takes a lot to put a school year together, and everybody's a little nervous, not only the students, but the adults too. So I'm glad we're up and running. It sounds like we've had just minor issues along the way. And I just wish everyone a wonderful year ahead for you and for our children. Board members, we have these packets today, and I guess what I'm thinking is if you would have a chance to look through your packets and have some information ready at our work session, if that would be okay. All right? And I will entertain a motion for adjournment. I'll second that one. Roll call, please.
No.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Our meeting is adjourned, 8:15.
I just want to say, I think you missed a fly because that thing ended up over here for a while.